what would your advice be to an 18-year-old, male or female, that's maybe gone through some of the same things that you've gone through and they feel really, really alone, but they have this incredible creativity that's inside of them, probably from a lot of the alone time. But they want to take these feelings that they have, and instead of doing some of the things that we hear about that are so awful, because they feel this pain and authorities aren't doing anything about it, teachers are blaming them and saying you're the problem, even though they're probably not the problem. But they've grown up their entire lives believing that they are the problem. What would you tell someone like that has a lot of creativity and how to channel it?
That's a lot. Some of these people have reached out to me, actually. Some of these exact people that you're describing, with My Name Is A, because of what it's about. Like it's 15 to 23-year-old girls are really, which is not an audience I'm used to having, are really kind of latching onto this movie even without having, whether they've figured out a way of seeing it earlier or they haven't even seen it. And a lot of people have been getting in contact with me because of it through like Facebook and stuff. And it's then they'll open up right away. Some of these people. One girl, I think she was a kid, like 15 or something. She sent me pictures of her self-mutilated arm. Because she had seen, it wasn't My Name Is A, but she saw the self-harm video that YouTube banned. I'm trying to remember what I told her. It was just, I told her basically, because that was one specific thing I remember, because I was really not sure how to handle it, and I was like, I don't know what to tell this girl, and I just really told her, I just opened up about myself and what I did, and then tried to let her know that, I obviously understand you because I'm in the exact same boat, and maybe sometimes it's best not even to say that you used to be there, just say, because I currently I'm always kind of there. So because if you say, oh, I used to be in the same, sometimes that makes people go, oh, but how did you get out? I think in some ways it almost might be better to tell them I feel just like you. Like I didn't used to be in that place, I still am. And that might sound hopeless to, some people who don't have these problems might think, oh, that sounds hopeless, but I think to the people who do have these problems, if they see that you're actually in the same boat, but you're in the same boat, but you're channeling it in other ways, like you're not, self-abusing, or you're not thinking of going and killing somebody. That's why I think, and I'm realizing this as I'm saying it, but that's why I think it's better to not say I came out of it by doing this, because a lot of people just feel like they can't come out of it. Say I understand because I'm going through the same thing, and then they go, oh, he's actually still dealing with it, but this is how he's dealing with it. You know what I mean? I think that sounds more hopeful to them, and it's the truth. I'm always dealing with these, these issues, or they're always in the back of my mind, or whatever. But as far as actual things that they can do, you can if you want to make a movie. You can. Do you have a smartphone? Because almost everybody, even homeless people I see, have smartphones. I don't, but most people have smartphones. I have a friend who shot a whole movie on a smartphone and got an actual distributor to put it out in stores. Shoot it on your smartphone. Make a video diary, with the subject that's bothering you, or it doesn't have to be that, but if it could be anything, but if it helps, if it's your way of releasing your issues, it could be about your issues or completely opposite, but if it makes you feel better about your issues, make a movie about it, do it on your smartphone. You might actually be able to get it distributed, or who knows, you might become the next YouTube sensation and do it like as 3-minute video blogs, Write. I've been thinking about writing a book for years, and I just started writing a book that opens with the thing that happened when I was 5. That's the first chapter. I just kind of spit it out in like 15 minutes, and I just started that. Maybe it was a week ago, because I finally saw a book written in a way where I thought, okay, that's how I should write it. Because I don't really read. I watch a lot of movies. I read a lot of information. I don't read novels. So I finally saw a novel that was spelled out in a way. It was basically written like memories, and I thought, okay, that's how I should write my novel. So even if you want to write but you don't know how, maybe look at how other people have written, because that's what happened. Is I just really felt like I can't get everything I want to say out on film, and it's hard to get people together. So even if I get a movie made, I'm still missing 99% of what I want to say. how can I say everything I want to say, maybe be done with it? I should write a book, but then I don't know how to write a book, and my vocabulary is not even great. But then I would go to Barnes and Noble and I started going through all kinds of books, and finally I found one where I'm like, that's how I should write my book. And then it was a matter of just getting motivated, or just trying to figure out how to get all your thoughts down. And then finally I'm like, just do it. Basically just do it. Finally I just sat down, I put the laptop down last week, and I'm like, okay, just do it. And I started writing, and it was easy, because I think it's the hardest thing is just putting the first finger down, but once you start doing it, it just kind of flows out. Even shooting, it's like sometimes I'm not motivated to shoot, but then the second I hit record, I don't want to stop. And there's so many things. Or you can volunteer if it's not a creative thing, volunteer and try and help other people understand. Work at a homeless shelter if if it depresses you. Like, it can really depress me, like seeing people on the street. Like I'm a loner, but I'll go and hang out with homeless people all the time. If I get a good vibe from them and they're not, I don't think I'm gonna get, well, even if I think I'm gonna get killed because it's some kind of like a rush. But I mean, like, if I get a good vibe from homeless people, I'll chat with them for 3 hours. Even Keanu Reeves, you could be famous and do it. There's all this stuff about Keanu Reeves. Somebody some paparazzi was spying on him, hanging out with some homeless guy, and he was there like all day just hanging out with the guy. I mean, if a big celebrity can do it, and not worry about being seen, or what people think, then you can do that, if that's another way of channeling it. And hopefully this all makes sense, but there's so many ways. Volunteer if that helps, write a book if that helps, shoot on your smartphone if you don't have a camera. It's better than, I think the quality might be better than some cameras. It's better than the cameras I used to shoot all the amateur porn star killer stuff on. Any smartphone is better quality than that, There's just so many things you can do, and if none of that helps, I don't know, maybe just go somewhere and scream until you have no breath left. I've even done that, where it's like, and it comes out of nowhere. And that was something I found recently, like 6 months ago, where it's just like, you just start screaming. And it's like, not screaming like, pointlessly. You're in so much pain that you just scream until you have no voice left. And you actually feel relieved afterwards, because you're exhausted from it. It's kind of like cutting yourself, but better, because you're not harming yourself. Because cutting yourself, the problem is, and people start doing this, when they start doing it, they realize it helps, because it actually releases like natural endorphins in your body, and it actually is a natural high. So the problem with cutting yourself is it actually does make you feel better. So I think a good way to maybe stop doing that is, like I said, the screaming thing I found out is it exhausts you, and that's kind of what cutting yourself does. You just kind of feel this high afterwards, and you kind of feel exhausted of that negative energy. But now you're harming yourself, and you don't want to do that. So screaming, I think, is actually, and I've seen that in a couple movies where people are so stressed out, like coming of age movies, and somebody goes somewhere and they just start screaming, and that's when they like finally feel better. And I recently did that in real life, and I've done it like 3 times now, and I'm like, I almost lost complete control of myself. It's like you're on a drug, but that's the point, is somehow it works, and it works for a while. You don't feel good for just 5 minutes like cutting yourself. You can feel good for a good week after that. So maybe if all else fails, scream your fucking heart out, I don't know.